Happy New Year to everybody. So, this is my first actual video of the new year, and as is so often my tradition, I face the new year ass backwards because as I'm recording this, just got back into town from a surprise trip my dad planned. My parents have, headed back to Alaska, and I have 2 days to kind of try to catch up on the last couple movies from 2017 that I really wanted to see and do reviews on. So in some cases, like this one, I'm coming very late to the party. Boy, there's a lot of traffic coming out of here. Well, they got to hit him first. Anyway, so as I'm sure you're aware, pretty much everybody and their brother, sister, cousin, and uncle have seen this film. So this isn't so much a review as it is a reaction. I've gone to great lengths to avoid spoilers regarding this movie, and it's not been easy, but I think I did. I was pretty surprised. One thing was kind of spoiled. But I am going to now assume everybody has seen this movie. So I'm going to talk about spoilers. I'm going to say spoilers. And this isn't so much a review as it is a reaction, because I think reviews more, at least in my definition, go along the lines of telling people, whether or not they should go see it or whatever. And again, most of you have already seen it probably multiple times by this stage. So you are warned. If you're like me and you took a long time to see this for various reasons, don't watch this. Go see the movie and then come back. So the main thing I want to kind of talk about is I've read online. Now that I've seen it and I'm doing my review, now I can go and watch other reviews and reactions and whatnot. Because one thing I've gotten the gist of is that there is a lot of backlash against this movie. I'm not sure what the reason is as of yet, but I know that people are mad about certain things. Now, to me, this could mean that they just fundamentally disagree with things, or it could mean that fanboys and fangirls just look for things to bitch about, because that tends to be where I'm coming down on this one, because I don't see anything really terrible about this film to really come down on, to really get too pissed off about. I think it did what... It wasn't what I expected. The storyline was not what I expected. And that's for the good, for the most part. There's a couple of things that I wasn't real for about. Okay, my main objection, let's talk about objections first. Let's do that, just to kind of get those out of the way, because my objections are relatively small. My first major objective is that it is fucking long. It is so fucking long. And I feel like there are chunks of it that could have been cut out completely. There are long digressions that could have, either been trimmed down or cut completely. And it just, you're exhausted by the end. You're just like, okay, let's get this going. Let's get back on track. Let's get back to the stuff you really do care about. I feel like there's almost an entire another movie's worth of stuff here, and I think that does work against it. So it's long. This is so again, getting into spoiler territory. So another of the three big Star Wars alums characters leaves us in this film. Luke Skywalker dies at the end, or fades away, or whatever. So that's fine. But I feel like, and I'm not just saying this because she actually passed away in real life, it felt to me like it would have made more sense to the plot and to the continuation of the story if Leia had been the one to die. And again, I don't say this just because she actually is gone and Mark Hamill's still around to do another movie. I say it because they introduced this new character played by Laura Dern. And they talk about her, you know, oh, she's this great admiral, oh, she was the hero of this, oh, she's the hero of that, oh, she thinks things through, and yada, 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 yada. And there comes this point, you know, the point of, you know, self-sacrifice where somebody has to stay behind and take the suicide run for the team, and it's Laura Dern's character. And to me, that felt like the perfect passing of the torch moment for Leia to say, no, I've led the rebellion for enough. I've done it. It's your turn now. You need to take it up. Because I liked the Laura Dern character. I like Laura Dern as an actor, and I was really happy to see her in this. But then, you know, her character dies, and you're like, well, then why did we go through all that trouble of introducing her? You know, what was that all about? You know, was it just to teach Poe a lesson? Because that was another big thing. This is a good thing about this movie I kind of liked, is I felt Poe Dameron in the first one, Force Awakens, was very underutilized. You know, from what I understand, they had intended him to die there at the beginning and then brought him back at the end. So suddenly they're trying to build this character, and they're giving you this character that he's kind of Han Solo-ish, that he's, you know, he's brash, he thinks with his gun, he doesn't think, you know, 10 steps down the road, he only thinks about what's right in front of him, and the whole thing is him becoming a leader and all that. So it's like, did you kill off this Laura Dern character just so Poe could step up and be the leader? It's like, I think that's weak. I really think that's weak storytelling. He could have still learned the lesson, but I think it would have made more sense for Leia to die and Luke to remain alive and go on to teach, to finally decide to teach Rey. So that's it. There's this whole middle chunk where Finn and this new character Rose, who I think dies at the end, I'm not sure. He was screaming to get a medvac, so I don't know if they evacuated her and she'll be in the next one. It's very unclear. But anyway, where they have to go to some casino planet to find some code breaker to go and do the magic MacGuffin and yada, yada, yada. And while I liked the casino scene in that it was nice to see one of these hodgepodges of aliens and whatnot that wasn't a bar, that wasn't a cantina, you know, that was more of a sanctuary for the rich and not so much the scum and villainy of the universe and all that. The whole casino section is very, very pointless, and it goes way, way, way too long, and it takes away from the rest of the film. So those are all the not likes. So what did I like? Because there's a lot to like. As always, and this was my thing with The Force Awakens. One moment. Okay, good. Is that I, like a lot of people, felt like The Force Awakens was just kind of a rehash of new Star Wars. I almost messed up and called it A New Hope, but I won't do that. But the thing that saved it for me was that I was really a big fan of the characters. I really liked Finn. I really liked Rey. I really liked Kylo Ren. And was anxious to kind of see them step up and take the reins. And I feel like they all kind of did that in this movie. I feel like a lot of them, their stories, now we're able to blossom out, particularly Rey and Kylo Ren. You know, we're able to step up and not just be Luke and Darth Vader 2.0. You know, they were able to be their own characters with their own story, their own conflict, and all of that. So, once again, I leave this one going, okay, I really want to see what happens with these characters as we go forward. I will say that. This is another thing I didn't like. So there's two big mysteries that came out of Force Awakens. The first one being, who are Rey's parents? And two, who is Supreme Leader Snoke? And I really like, and again, spoilers here, I'm just saying stuff, folks, you just gotta be okay with it. I really like that the big answer to Rey's question, the big answer to who were her parents, they were nobody. They were not anybody we've seen. They're not anybody famous. It's not Obi-Wan Kenobi. They were just junk people. They were just regular folk. And I liked that. I really liked that because I was like, all right, cool. Because one of my big complaints about the whole Star Wars series is that I wish it would get off of this one lineage of characters and not, and not branch out, this whole big universe, and yet they don't branch out at all. And so that revelation, in my opinion, was pretty awesome. Was like, okay, cool. She is what we have suspected. She's just a person, and that's great. So that was good. I liked that. But now here's what I didn't like. We, at least, and again, this era of, serialized storytelling, serialized filmmaking, you never know what might, come up later. This might be something they get answers to in the next movie. But we get no answer to who Grand Leader Snoke is. None. And I don't know if we were never meant to, or if it's going to come back in the third one, but he dies in this one. Kylo Ren kills him. And I'm like, okay, it was a cool moment, but, fuck. We get no answers. Were there no answers? Did they never mean for there to be answers? That was very disappointing. I went back and forth. Ironically, I went back and forth on this as well, but in the end, I think I come down on the side of I liked it. Kylo Ren keeps kind of flip-flopping here in this story. Keeps kind of bouncing back and forth between light and dark, but he's supposed to. He's supposed to be conflicted. It's supposed to be this whole thing. And I like what they've done with that. I like kind of the mystery of where he's going to go. He is now Supreme Leader, of the First Order. He's now in charge, so that's kind of cool. But you don't know kind of if he's going to go to the light or the dark. I think he's kind of firmly planted in the dark side now. Because I don't think there's any coming back from him. But my thing is, and I warned them about this, and again, backlash from fans is just something this series has to, come to terms with, because it's just always going to be there. But I would caution them, folks making these movies, that I don't think at this point, unlike with Darth Vader, I don't think there's going to be an answer to this that is going to be, satisfactory. If he stays in the dark side and dies, people are going to be mad that Han Solo's son never got redeemed. If he gets redeemed, it's going to be like, what? He's forgiven after all this shit? I mean, so it'll be interesting to kind of see where they go. As always, Daisy, whatever her last name is, I really need to learn these people's names, is the MVP of these movies. She is phenomenal. I'm a Rey backer. I love Rey. She is an outstanding character, and Daisy plays her just to the hilt. Finn is fun still, but I don't feel like he got as much to do in this one. He was kind of regulated to, if there was a series of stories, Rey and Kylo Ren are the A story, and their parallel matching is the A story. Poe and the Resistance trying to escape the First Order is the B story, and Finn and this new character Rose, again, lovely character and good actor, but, you know, I think they killed her, are the C story. So Finn doesn't get as much to do, you know, and I think since the first movie was told a lot from his point of view, it really does feel like this great character they set up doesn't get as much of a payoff in this one. So, that's that. Gotta talk about, Mark Hamill just back as Luke is awesome. I think some of the backlash, I'm making assumptions here, I think some of the backlash comes from people that their favorite characters didn't end up the way they wanted them to. Pardon me. You know, that, you know, they want to believe, like in those god awful expanded universe books, that Luke went on and found a new Jedi Order and he's a master and all this, and they don't want to believe that he's a broken person who kind of crumpled under the weight of the responsibility. But I liked it. I liked that aspect of the character. I liked that, you know, if someone was handed, you know, this whole thing, you know, think that you're the last surviving member of a religion. I mean, that has got to be, you know, go watch The Legend of Korra and look at Tenzin trying to be the last steward of the air nomads. You know, that's a good example. Whereas, you know, Tenzin kind of bore up under it, Luke was kind of crushed under it. And you can go both ways, and I liked that character, and I liked that he had a final character arc in there. I really did. Gotta talk about this. So, big spoiler again. If you haven't watched it, go away. My boy Yoda. Yoda's back, Frank Oz, baby. And it looked like, and if it's not, it was the best CG in the entire movie. It looks like they had him back as a puppet. And my heart just leapt, as I'm sure everyone else's did when they saw that. I loved the scene with Yoda. Yeah, I can't really say much else about that scene other than Yoda was in it and it was fucking awesome. So, you know. So again, just from the periphery, because I tried very hard to avoid spoilers about this one. I get some people think this is so awesome, this is so this is so that, this is so this, and other people are, you know, really mad about it for some reason. I'm coming down, I'm being wishy-washy, and I'm coming down firmly on the side of I liked it, but I don't think it's the best thing ever. I think it was a little too long, a little too busy, a little too much going on. I liked a lot of the aspects, but there were other aspects that kind of sucked it dry for me a little bit. I still contend that I think the best of the new Star Wars movies has been Rogue One. Personally. So, that's me. But again, the excellent directing, the good writing, the having fun with the universe, and I think that's the thing I'm the happiest about, because again, I felt Force Awakens was just a remake of the original Star Wars, and I was very worried, you know, kind of how they set up this one and how they, you know, kind of advertise it, that it was just going to be another Empire Strikes Back. And in some ways it is, but it is, the plot is not just a carbon copy of the Empire Strikes Back like Force Awakens was. It's a new thing, and yeah, the seeds are kind of there, but it's firmly its own thing. So I really hope that the third one, which I guess will wrap up this trilogy, I really hope that it knocks it out of the park, and I think we're on good ground. I think in the end these films are enjoyable. I can't say that they've rekindled for me, kind of as they have for a lot of people, the love of Star Wars, but you're excited to see it. You don't feel like it's a dredge like when the prequels were coming out. You're like, oh, guess we gotta go see this one again. All right, here we go. Buckle up. So yeah, like I say, everybody has seen it already, so my saying go see it is not gonna do anything. You know if you liked it or not. So that's my take on The Last Jedi. So I look very much forward to seeing where Rey and Kylo Ren and Finn go after this one. Like I say, time is ticking away for me on my vacation, so I'm going to I got a lot of work I got to do to get ready for school. But I hope everyone has had an excellent New Year. And I got a couple more films I'm going to try to see before I got to head back to class on Monday. So there'll be a mass upload. So until next time, drive safe, and I will see you at the movies.